just exploration, and that's the thing this guitar makes me want to explore.
Hello, my name is Kevin Muiderman. I'm a guitar maker here in Grand Forks, North Dakota. And behind me is a guitar that has a good story, and I'd like to tell you about that guitar. It is the latest iteration of the guitars I've been making over the years for the legendary Martin Simpson. It's a fairly large guitar, which Martin Simpson tends to like because of the big bassy overtones, but because of the construction, which is ultra lightweight top with graphite composite bracing, it is a fingerstyle powerhouse with clear attack and sustain and intonation all the way up the neck. Let me show you. I started working with Martin Simpson 25, 30 years ago. He used to live in the United States, and he was already one of my guitar heroes. The things he did with fluidity and movement across the fingerboard were unprecedented in my experience. And I had already developed my first, what I thought was a player-ready, innovative composite guitar. It consisted of a double top with graphite composite bracing on the inside to try to give more sustain, more power, and it was the kind of guitar that a fingerstyle player such as Martin would like. He happened to be giving a seminar in Michigan where he was spending the weekend teaching students how to approach the guitar the way he approaches the guitar. So I brought a prototype of one of these guitars to have and to play, but with the hope that maybe I could show it to him somewhere over the weekend. And he was enthusiastic about what I was doing. It had power and sustain that he hadn't heard before in guitars, and he also had about 6 guitars with him, and we were able to compare the guitar to the other guitars he had present, and I was able to really show off what had come from all the experiments I'd been doing. Eventually he commissioned then a guitar based on this prototype. The guitar used what's called a double top, which is 2 super thin skins of wood with what's called a Nomex honeycomb between the 2 skins. This is the Nomex honeycomb, and the idea is that it's used in aerospace to make a sheet of something like an airplane wing or some other part that is as strong as, let's say, a thick piece of wood or aluminum, but is much lighter because mostly it's filled with air. And so in the world of guitar, sometimes people will do that with the guitar tops. Instead of making a solid top, you can have a top that is 30% lighter, let's say, than a piece of wood, but is equally as strong. And so this guitar used this double top technology. I also used non-traditional bracing on the inside. Here is the actual prototype from that day. Over the years, the airlines destroyed the actual guitar, so I put a new top on it. But this is the bracing, and this is cedar with this graphite composite epoxy to the top of it, and you get this incredibly strong top that's able to support steel strings. And then you can see this is where the bridge was. This is the Nomex honeycomb. So this is a super light top. It's light as a feather, light as paper, but it's incredibly strong. And so that was the first guitar that I made for him. He eventually moved on to other things, but over the years, I would occasionally travel to the UK, where he now lives, and bring new models, and he was generous enough to try the new models. Last summer, I went again and brought sort of my latest iteration, which is this. This is a copy of the one I made for Martin Simpson. I hadn't intended to leave it there, but I remember that he opened the case and he took his index finger and went, and he said, "Holy shit!" It was my guitar I made for myself, but he liked it so much that he now has the guitar. So this is a quadruple O guitar, which is a fairly large body guitar, but comfortably thin. It also has Brazilian rosewood back and sides, and it has a beautiful sort of bear claw Sitka spruce top that kind of glows.
There's a lot to admire about this instrument. One of the things that I really love is the aesthetic behind it. So this is, I think, to be fair, aberrant Brazilian rosewood. You wouldn't be able to build a guitar using this wood on its own because you just wouldn't know what it was going to do. It could split, it could bend, it could do all sorts of things. And it has these wonderful beetle holes in it as well, which I thoroughly love. But the way that Kevin builds allows him to use this extraordinarily beautiful wood because it's actually laminated onto some very simple, plain mahogany. And because of that, this guitar is incredibly strong, but really, really light. And the top, again, you look at those bear claw figures, as they're called in the top. It's really extraordinarily beautiful.
It has composite bracing. It's different than the bracing in the top that I just showed. Instead of having the graphite laid over the top, it's actually laminated between the braces. But it gives this sustain that goes on forever. You can hear it still ringing.
One of the things that tickled me the first time I ever met this guitar was this thing that I like to do with guitars, to see what happens if you just sort of there's all those different frequencies. It's almost like having a wah-wah pedal built into the top of the guitar because the wood is so light, so thin, but so responsive. It's a very woody guitar, isn't it, really? I mean, you look at this rosette is beautiful, made out of bits of timber. And this bridge is a beautiful piece of wood. No bridge pins, straight through bridge. So this guitar, it's very, very loud indeed. It's also, and this is the thing for me really, incredibly articulate. So you can hear every single thing that you put into it. Play things like that sometimes just for fun. It's just exploration, and that's the thing this guitar makes me want to explore.
Because of the volume that it has, that means that a guitar player needs to put less effort into the strings. You can practically blow on them and get huge sound, so that, say, Martin can just gently brush the strings without having to push and still get all the tone that he wants. A lot of lot of guitars start after the 9th fret becoming a little quieter, and they don't have as much sustain and power up here, and so you have to put more energy into playing them when you get up to the top. But this one has the same energy no matter where you play up and down the fretboard.